What's that song?
I don't know. I was just, it's coming through the headphones.
That's weird.
The ghosts of Radio Path.
Hey, I need to open my new, well, I'll tell you afterwards. No sense boring you folks with that. How are you today? Where are we at? Bathrobe session 167. We've been doing this Dennis Miller SNL 2-week thing, and I've been talking to everybody from my past, including Lorne. That one's coming up the next day, I think. And Spade and Norm MacDonald tomorrow, and Nealon and Carvey and Molly Shannon, and it's been a blast. So give it a listen. And O'Reilly and I, August 20th, the Big Shoe, Westbury, New York. Billy O'Reilly and I going on the road with the Bold Fresh Tour. The Bolder Fresher Tour, we're calling it. And you can get tickets at boldfreshtour.com. All right, Bathrobe session 167. Now call in the session. What do we got?
We got another winner of the Bathrobe. It's the Chicago Cubbies sign.
Oh, that's cool.
He actually took the picture.
I think of Wrigley as so retro. That's at Wrigley?
Yeah.
What is that? Just the scoreboard. I'm just saying, usually I think of the Chicago Cubs games, and I always think of it as old world, and that looks like such a thoroughly modern Millie sign. So, all right, Cubbies. I've thrown out the first ball there, and I bounced it once. Oh, that sticks with you. Once I drilled it, once I bounced it, and then I threw a second one, and they kind of got angry at me. I asked the catcher, I said, give it back to me, give it, and I threw it again, I almost bounced again, thank God. That is a nerve-wracking thing. I'm telling you, I give any of the presidents credit for that. Bush looks very at ease with it, but I don't cap on Barack when he does it from the front of the mound. I can see how nerve-wracking it is. And he looks a little soft, though. That being said, I think he could pitch for the Dodgers.
Didn't you sing in the 7th inning stretch?
Yeah, that's easy. That's fine. But that pitch, for some reason, you make it much bigger than it is. I know it shouldn't be a test of your manhood, but it becomes one. I remember I threw one out in Cactus League once, and Gaylord Perry was still pitching. That's how long ago it was. I must have been on SNL, because that's a long time ago. Or he had just retired, or he was in the stadium. I can't remember what it was. And I went out to the pharmacy, CVS, or whatever it was, beforehand, and got the biggest jar of Vaseline I could. And I put it in my pocket of the coat they gave me, the special jacket. And I took it out on the mound and took a big scoop out of it and greased the ball up. The place went crazy. And then I threw the spitter. All right, Bathrobe session 167 now in order. Paul from Prestonsburg, Kentucky. Oh, Paul from Kentucky, good friend. Before I ask my question, I can hear his rhythms. They're so laconic when he calls into the radio that it's funny to hear his rhythms. I would like to relay an anecdote. Go ahead, Foghorn Leghorn. That lets you know how listening to your show has impacted me. A wisdom tooth, no doubt. I was making breakfast one morning for the family and was trying to figure out how much more bacon we needed. I'm glad I've gotten involved in this. What about me reminds you of the bacon count? I asked my wife how many pieces had I fried already, to which she replied, 5 and chunk. My retort to this was, I was in an improv troupe called 5 and chunk. Cue obligatory eye roll from the missus. Anyway, sticking with the food theme, I have heard you and others actors refer to something called the craft service table. Through my powers of deductive reasoning, I have been able to piece together that is where the food is set up for the cast and crew on the set. Is the name Craft Services generic, or is it like a company that provides these services, e.g. Craft Services? It's generic, and it has probably caused more heart attacks than anything in the Western world. Although they've gotten healthier lately. I'll go over there and find little cauliflower heads that look like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Those little mushroom, they always remind me of little nuclear explosions, the cauliflower heads. And carrot sticks, but for a while there, trust me, your main choice at a craft service table was M&Ms with nuts or M&Ms plain. That was the only decision you had to make. And they have a big spread. It's running 24 hours a day. And then they'll come around on cold shoots and give you some coffee. And a good craft service thing can really make or break a shoot. I mean, I've been on a couple films where it was shaky. But I've been on some films where it was too good, you couldn't pull yourself away. They'd have nachos, they'd be melting the cheese right in front of you. It was great. And hot cocoa, and the guy would put a little tinge. I remember that one cat would put a tinge on the marshmallow with an acetylene torch. That's too good a craft service table. That's nobody wanting to work anymore. So it's somewhere in between. But it is not a specific like craft macaroni and cheese. It's craft service generic thing. All right, number 2. Enjoy these samples of the Bathrobe Sessions, a weekly video available only to members of the DMZ, the Dennis Miller Zone, on DennisMillerRadio.com.